Story 1. I teach 10th grade English at Lincoln High School in a diverse suburban district. Teaching literature to teenagers is challenging but rewarding. Watching students connect with stories and develop critical thinking skills makes all the late nights grading papers worth it. This incident happened during our quarterly parent-teacher meeting in the school library. These meetings give parents updates on curriculum changes and school policies. Usually, their routine maybe 30 parents show up. We present, answer questions about homework or field trips, and everyone goes home. The meeting was scheduled for 7 o'clock on a Wednesday evening. I was there with 3 other English teachers, our department head, and Principal Rodriguez. We prepared a presentation about our new diverse literature unit, which included books by authors from different cultural backgrounds to give students broader perspectives. The unit included classics like To Kill a Mockingbird alongside contemporary works like The Hate You Give and American-Born Chinese. We'd spent months selecting books that would challenge students intellectually while exposing them to different viewpoints. Everything had been approved by the school board and curriculum committee. 15 minutes into our presentation, the library door burst open. In walked a woman I'd never seen before, carrying a large binder and looking absolutely furious. She marched to the front, completely ignoring that our department head was mid-sentence. "Karen, excuse me. I need to speak right now about the dangerous books you're forcing on our children." Principal Rodriguez stood up from his seat in the back of the room. He's been our principal for 8 years and has a reputation for being calm but firm with difficult parents. Principal Rodriguez: "Ma'am, I'm going to need you to wait until we finish our presentation. There will be time for questions afterward." "Karen, I will not wait. Our children are being indoctrinated with anti-American propaganda, and I demand it stops immediately." She opened her binder and pulled out what looked like printed pages from the internet. I could see other parents in the audience starting to shift uncomfortably in their seats. Department head: "Ma'am, could you please tell us which books you're concerned about? We'd be happy to discuss our selection process." "Karen, all of them. These so-called diverse books are just excuses to push a liberal agenda. The Hate You Give promotes violence against police. American-Born Chinese is racist against white people." I had read both books multiple times and knew her descriptions were completely wrong. The Hate You Give is about a young woman finding her voice after tragedy, while American-Born Chinese explores identity and belonging. Me: "Have you actually read these books, or are you basing your opinions on summaries you found online?" Karen: "I don't need to read them. I've done my research. I have summaries from concerned parent groups." She waved her printed pages like evidence in a court case. Principal Rodriguez: "Ma'am, I'm going to need to ask you to either take a seat so we can continue, or wait outside until we're finished." Karen: "I'm not going anywhere until you agree to remove these books. Our tax dollars shouldn't be spent on materials that hate America." A parent in the third row raised her hand. Parent: "Actually, my daughter read The Hate You Give, and it led to meaningful conversations about empathy and understanding different perspectives." Karen: "That's exactly the problem. These books are designed to make white children feel guilty about being American. They're part of a coordinated attack on our values." Another parent spoke up. Parent: "I've read several books on the list with my son. They're thought-provoking and well-written. Isn't that what we want for our kids?" Karen: "You've been brainwashed. These books are turning our children against their own country. I demand they be removed and replaced with patriotic literature that celebrates American values." Principal Rodriguez walked to the front and stood next to our department head. His expression was professional, but I could tell he was getting frustrated. Principal Rodriguez: "Ma'am, our curriculum is developed by certified teachers with advanced degrees. All materials are reviewed by our curriculum committee and approved by the school board. We're not changing our entire program based on one person's objections." Karen: "One person? I represent dozens of concerned parents. We're organizing and we're going to take this to the school board, the superintendent, and the mayor if necessary." Department Head, if you have specific concerns about curriculum materials, there's a formal review process. We have forms available in the main office. Karen, I don't want forms, I want action. These books need to be banned immediately. The room was getting tense. Several parents were whispering to each other, and a few looked like they were considering leaving. Ma'am, education is about exposing students to different ideas and teaching them to think critically. These books help students develop empathy and understand perspectives different from their own. Karen, critical thinking is just code for liberal indoctrination. Children should be learning about the greatness of America, not reading propaganda that makes them hate their own country. Principal Rodriguez had clearly reached his limit. He walked over to a table near the circulation desk and picked up a stack of papers. He returned to where the woman was standing and held out a single sheet. Principal Rodriguez, ma'am, it sounds like our educational philosophy isn't aligned with what you're looking for. Here's a withdrawal form for your child. There are several excellent homeschool programs in the area that might be a better fit for your family. The room went completely silent. The woman stopped mid-sentence and stared at the form. Karen, what is this supposed to mean? Principal Rodriguez, it means that if you're not satisfied with our curriculum, teaching methods, or educational approach, you're free to choose an alternative. Public education serves the entire community, and we're not going to eliminate books because one parent finds them objectionable. Karen, you can't kick my child out of school. Principal Rodriguez, I'm not kicking anyone out. I'm offering you a choice. You can either trust our professional educators to teach your child, or you can take responsibility for their education yourself. But you can't come into our school and demand that we change everything to match your personal beliefs. Karen, this is discrimination. You're violating my parental rights. Principal Rodriguez, your parental rights include the right to choose where your child goes to school. They don't include the right to dictate curriculum for everyone else's children. The woman looked around the room as if expecting support, but all the other parents were staring at her with expressions ranging from annoyance to disbelief. Karen, this is outrageous. I'm going to report this to the media. Everyone will know how this school discriminates against Christian families. Principal Rodriguez, that's your right. But the withdrawal form will still be here if you change your mind. She grabbed the form and crumpled it up, throwing it on the floor. Karen, you haven't heard the last of this. I'm calling the school board first thing tomorrow morning. Principal Rodriguez, the school board meets the third Thursday of every month. Public comment is at 7:30. Karen, mark my words, parents in this community will not stand for this liberal brainwashing. We're going to take back our schools. The library door slammed behind her. Principal Rodriguez calmly walked over, picked up the crumpled withdrawal form, and threw it in the trash. Principal Rodriguez, I apologize for that interruption. Now, where were we in our presentation? That's when it happened. One parent in the back row started clapping. Then another joined in. Within seconds, the entire room was applauding. Parent, I can't believe you just did that. That was incredible. Another parent, thank you for standing up for our teachers and our kids. A woman near the front stood up and addressed the room. Parent, I just want to say that I'm grateful my daughter has teachers who expose her to different perspectives. The world is diverse, and she needs to understand that. The rest of the meeting went smoothly. Parents asked thoughtful questions about the books, and several mentioned that their children had already read some of the selections and enjoyed them. After the meeting, several parents approached me personally to express their support. One mother told me that her son had been struggling with reading until he discovered American-born Chinese and finally found a character he could relate to. Principal Rodriguez stayed afterward to help clean up, and I thanked him for handling the situation so professionally. That was masterful. I've never seen anyone shut down a disruption like that. Principal Rodriguez, in my experience, people who demand that everyone else change to accommodate their views usually back down when you offer them alternatives. She wanted to control the entire school's curriculum, but she wasn't willing to take responsibility for her own child's education. The woman never did call the school board, at least not that I heard about. But word of the incident spread quickly through the parent community, and several people reached out to express their support for our curriculum. The incident actually ended up strengthening our program. The positive response from the community showed us that most parents appreciate teachers who challenge their children to think critically and empathetically. Sometimes the best way to handle unreasonable demands is to offer people exactly what they're asking for, the freedom to make their own choices. Story 2. I've been working retail for 3 years now, ever since I graduated high school. What started as a part-time job to earn spending money became my main source of income after my dad lost his job last year. I work full-time at a mid-range department store, mostly covering the accessories and handbags section. The handbag section is usually pretty calm. Most customers know what they want and either buy something or leave. We get the occasional difficult customer, but nothing too crazy. The most expensive bags in our section cost around $300. Last Tuesday started like any other day. I was organizing displays when I noticed a woman in the handbag section acting strangely. She was well-dressed, probably in her 40s, with expensive jewelry. She'd been browsing for about 20 minutes, constantly looking around to see if anyone was watching her. I decided to keep an eye on her. She was focusing on one particular bag, a designer crossbody bag that retailed for $250. She kept picking it up, checking the price tag, and putting it back down with a frustrated expression. After about 10 more minutes, she moved to the clearance section. I watched as she picked up a cheap canvas tote bag marked down to $20. She examined its price tag carefully, then glanced around again. That's when I saw her do it. She carefully peeled the price tag off the $20 bag and walked back to the designer bag. She removed the original tag and stuck the $20 tag in its place. She thought she was being sneaky, but I had a clear view of the whole thing. My heart started racing. In 3 years of retail work, I'd never actually caught someone switching price tags. I watched as she crumpled up the original price tag and stuffed it into her purse. Then she picked up the designer bag with the fake $20 tag and headed toward the register. I quickly called my manager over the headset. Hey, Mike, can you come to accessories? I think we have a situation. Mike, what kind of situation? Me, price tag switching. Woman in the blue dress heading to register 1. Mike arrived just as Karen was approaching the register. He positioned himself nearby while Karen placed the bag on the counter. Hi there. Did you find everything you were looking for today? Karen, yes, just this bag. It's exactly what I was hoping to find. I scanned the barcode on the fake $20 price tag, and it rang up as a clearance canvas tote bag, not the designer leather bag she was trying to purchase. I'm sorry, but there seems to be an error with this price tag. This is showing up as a different item in our system. Karen, what do you mean? It's $20. That's what the tag says. I understand what the tag says, but our system shows this as a $250 designer bag. Karen, well, if your system is wrong, that's not my problem. I'm paying what the tag says. Her tone was getting aggressive, and I could see Mike moving closer. Let me just double-check something. Sometimes tags can fall off and get mixed up. Karen, look, I don't have time for this. The tag clearly says $20. If your store can't keep track of its own pricing, that's not my responsibility. Mike, excuse me, ma'am. I'm the manager here. Is there a problem? Karen, your employee is trying to overcharge me for this bag. The tag clearly says $20. Mike, let me take a look at this. This particular bag is one of our premium items. It's unusual for it to be marked down to $20. Karen, maybe it's damaged or something. I don't know how your store does its pricing. Mike, it doesn't appear to be damaged. Can I ask where you found this bag? Karen, I don't remember exactly. Somewhere over there. Mike, and you didn't notice anything unusual about the price? Karen, No, I just saw the tag and thought it was a good deal. Mike, a $250 bag for $20 didn't seem too good to be true? Karen, I don't know what bags cost. I just shop by what the tags say. Mike examined the price tag more closely, noticing that the adhesive looked fresh and the tag didn't quite fit properly on the bag. Mike, this is interesting. The adhesive on this tag looks like it was just applied. I'm going to need to call our loss prevention team. Karen, loss prevention. What is this? Some kind of investigation? I'm just trying to buy a bag. Within a few minutes, 2 loss prevention officers arrived. Their presence clearly made Karen nervous. Loss Prevention Officer 1, hi there. We understand there's a question about the pricing on this item. Mike? Yes, we have a designer bag that's tagged at $20, but it should be priced at $250. Loss Prevention Officer 1, ma'am, can you tell us where you found this bag? Karen, I already told them. I don't remember exactly. It was somewhere in the handbag section. Loss Prevention Officer 2, and when you saw the $20 price tag, that didn't strike you as unusually low for a leather designer bag? Karen, I don't know about designer bags. I just saw the price and thought it was affordable. Loss Prevention Officer 1, would you mind if we took a look in your purse? Sometimes when tags get mixed up, the original tags end up getting lost or thrown away nearby. Karen's face went pale. Karen, my purse. Why would you need to look in my purse? Loss Prevention Officer 2, just to help us understand what might have happened with the price tags. If you have nothing to hide, it shouldn't be a problem. Karen, this is harassment. I know my rights. Loss Prevention Officer 1, you're absolutely right about your rights. You can refuse and leave the store without making a purchase. But if you want to buy this bag, we need to resolve the pricing issue first. Karen, fine. But this is completely inappropriate. She reluctantly opened her purse. The loss prevention officer immediately spotted the crumpled-up price tag and carefully pulled it out, smoothing it to reveal the $250 price. Loss Prevention Officer 1, this appears to be the original price tag for the bag you're trying to purchase. Karen, I don't know how that got there. Loss Prevention Officer 2, so you're saying you have no idea how the original price tag for this specific bag ended up crumpled in your purse. Karen, maybe it fell off the bag when I was looking at it. Loss Prevention Officer 1, but if it fell off, why would you pick it up and put it in your purse instead of leaving it on the display? Karen, I don't know. I might have picked it up without thinking. Loss Prevention Officer 2, and then coincidentally, a $20 price tag from a completely different item ended up on this bag? Karen, I don't know how that happened. Loss Prevention Officer 1, ma'am, I think we both know what happened here. You switched the price tags hoping to get a designer bag for $20 instead of the actual price. Karen, that's not true. You can't prove anything. Loss Prevention Officer 2, actually, we can. We have security footage of the handbag section, and we have you in possession of the original price tag. That's pretty clear evidence of attempted theft. Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm leaving. Loss Prevention Officer 1, I'm afraid you're not going anywhere right now. We're going to need to call the police. Karen, the police? Over a price tag? Loss Prevention Officer 2, over attempted theft. Switching price tags to pay less than the actual cost is a crime. The police arrived about 15 minutes later. Karen spent the entire time trying to convince everyone that it was all a misunderstanding, but the evidence was overwhelming. When the officers arrived, they examined the evidence and spoke with Karen. She continued to insist that she was innocent, but they'd seen this before. Police officer, ma'am, based on what we've seen here, we're going to have to place you under arrest for attempted theft. Karen, this is insane. I'm a respected member of this community. I volunteer at my church. I have never stolen anything in my life. Police officer, I understand this is upsetting, but the evidence suggests otherwise. You have the right to remain silent. As they read her rights and placed her in handcuffs, Karen kept protesting her innocence. The whole scene had attracted a crowd of other customers who were watching in shock. After Karen was taken away, Mike thanked me for catching the price tag switching and handling it professionally. A few weeks later, he told me that Karen had been prosecuted for attempted theft and received a fine plus community service. She was also banned from all locations of our store chain indefinitely. The whole experience reminded me why I actually like working in retail despite all the challenges. When you catch someone trying to cheat the system, it feels good to make sure they face consequences. Story 3. I've been working as a server at upscale restaurants for about 8 years now, and I thought I'd seen every possible way customers could try to bend the rules. But what happened last Saturday night at the restaurant where I work was a new level of audacity that left me and my coworkers speechless. I work at a mid-range Italian restaurant downtown. We have a decent wine selection, and like most restaurants, we charge a corkage fee if customers want to bring their own bottle. It's $25, which is pretty standard for our area. It was a busy Saturday evening, and I was assigned to a 4-top table near the back of the restaurant. The reservation was for a party of 2, but when I approached the table, I found a woman in her 50s sitting alone, looking around impatiently. Me, good evening. I'm your server tonight. Are you waiting for someone else to join you? Karen, yes, my husband is parking the car. He'll be here in a minute. Me, perfect. Can I start you off with some water? Or perhaps a cocktail while you wait? Karen, actually, I brought my own drink. I hope that's okay. She reached into a large purse beside her chair and pulled out what looked like a regular plastic soda bottle filled with dark liquid. Something about it immediately seemed off to me. Me, I'm sorry, but we don't allow outside beverages except for water. If you'd like wine with dinner, I'd be happy to show you our wine list. Or you can bring your own bottle for a $25 corkage fee. Karen, oh, this isn't wine. It's just soda. Diet Cola. Actually, I'm diabetic, and I need to watch my sugar intake, so I bring my own sugar-free drinks. The liquid in the bottle was definitely dark like cola, but something about her demeanor made me suspicious. Still, I didn't want to accuse a customer of lying, especially about a medical condition. Me, I understand. That should be fine then. I'll get you some glasses and ice. Karen, no need for ice. I prefer it at room temperature. That was another red flag. Who drinks warm soda? But I decided to let it slide and went to get her husband, who had just walked in. Her husband seemed pleasant enough. He was a quiet man who looked slightly embarrassed about something, though I couldn't figure out what. When I asked if he wanted anything to drink, he just ordered water. Me, and will you be sharing your wife's soda? Husband, no, thank you. I'll stick with water. He gave his wife a look that I couldn't quite interpret, but it seemed like he was trying to tell her something without saying it out loud. They ordered their appetizers and entrees without any issues. Karen was polite enough, though she kept glancing around nervously. Her husband remained quiet throughout most of the meal, occasionally shooting her warning glances. About halfway through their appetizer, I noticed Karen was being very secretive about her drink. She would wait until she thought no one was looking, then quickly pour some of the liquid from the bottle into her glass and take a sip. When other customers or staff members walked by, she would casually place the bottle back in her purse. This behavior was definitely suspicious. If it was really just diet soda, why was she being so sneaky about it? I decided to keep a closer eye on their table. During their main course, I was refilling water glasses at a nearby table when I caught a glimpse of Karen's soda bottle. From my angle, I could see the label more clearly. It definitely wasn't a soda bottle. It looked like a wine bottle with a fake label wrapped around it. I went to my manager and quietly explained the situation. She agreed that we should investigate further. Manager, I'll go check on their table and see if I can get a better look at that bottle. A few minutes later, my manager returned with a concerned expression. Manager, you're right. That's definitely not soda. I could smell wine from 3 feet away when I walked by their table. Me, should I confront them about it? Manager, let's give them one more chance to come clean. Go ask if they need anything else, and see if she mentions the wine on her own. I approached their table as they were finishing their main courses. Me, how was everything? Can I interest you in any dessert tonight? Karen, everything was delicious. I think we'll skip dessert, but thank you. Me, great. And how was your diet soda? I noticed you've been enjoying it throughout the meal. Karen, oh yes, it's perfect. I have to be so careful about my sugar intake. She was still lying directly to my face. At this point, I knew I had to address the situation. Me, ma'am, I need to ask you about the beverage you brought in. We have reason to believe it's not actually soda. Karen, of course it's soda. I told you I'm diabetic. Me, I understand what you told me, but the smell and your behavior suggest otherwise. If you've brought wine, that's fine, but there is a corkage fee. Karen, I don't know what you're talking about. This is Diet Cola. Her husband looked mortified. He put his head in his hands and shook his head. Husband, just tell them the truth. Karen, there's nothing to tell. I brought soda. Me, ma'am, would you mind if I took a closer look at the bottle? Karen, you have no right to search my personal belongings. Me, I'm not searching anything. I'm asking to verify what you're drinking in our restaurant. Karen, and I'm telling you it's soda. At this point, my manager came over to the table. Manager, is there a problem here? Me, the customer claims she brought diet soda, but we believe it's actually wine. Karen, this is harassment. I'm a paying customer, and you're accusing me of lying. Manager, ma'am, if you've brought wine, that's perfectly acceptable. We just need to charge the corkage fee. It's our policy. Karen, I didn't bring wine. I brought soda for my medical condition. Manager, then you won't mind showing us the bottle. Karen, I absolutely mind. This is invasion of privacy. Her husband finally spoke up. Husband, just show them the bottle. This is embarrassing. Karen, I don't have to show them anything. Manager, ma'am, if you don't cooperate, I'll have to ask you to leave. Karen, you can't kick me out for bringing soda. Manager, we can ask you to leave for being dishonest with our staff. Karen, I'm not being dishonest. At this point, Karen made a crucial mistake. She reached for her purse to move it away from us, and the bottle fell out onto the floor. It was clearly a wine bottle with a fake soda label wrapped around it. Manager, ma'am, that's obviously a wine bottle. Karen, no, it's not. It's a soda bottle shaped like a wine bottle. Me, there's no such thing as a soda bottle shaped like a wine bottle. Karen, yes, there is. It's a specialty diet cola. Her husband looked like he wanted to disappear. Husband, please just stop. They caught us. Let's pay the corkage fee and move on. Karen, there's nothing to catch. This is soda. Manager, ma'am, I can smell the wine from here. The bottle clearly has a wine cork, not a soda bottle cap. Karen, that's just how this specialty soda is packaged. The absurdity of her lies was getting ridiculous. Other customers were starting to notice the commotion. Manager, ma'am, this is clearly wine. If you admit it now, we can just charge the corkage fee and move on. Karen, I'm not admitting anything because there's nothing to admit. Manager, then I'm afraid I have to ask you to leave. Karen, you can't kick me out for bringing soda. Manager, we're asking you to leave for repeatedly lying to our staff and trying to circumvent our policies. Karen, this is discrimination. You're picking on me because I'm diabetic. Her husband stood up and threw his napkin on the table. Husband, that's enough. I'm sorry about this. She brought wine from home and thought she could get away with it. Karen, don't apologize to them. I didn't do anything wrong. Husband, you wrapped a wine bottle in a fake soda label and tried to sneak it into a restaurant. That's ridiculous. Manager, sir, I appreciate your honesty. If you'd like to pay the corkage fee, you can stay and finish your meal. Karen, we're not paying any corkage fee because it's not wine. Manager, ma'am, your husband just confirmed it's wine. Karen, he's confused. It's soda. They paid their bill, though Karen continued to mutter about discrimination and harassment. As they left, she turned back one more time. Karen, you'll regret treating me this way. I have a lot of followers on social media. Me, ma'am, you tried to sneak wine into our restaurant and lied about it repeatedly. We have security cameras that recorded everything. Karen, I didn't sneak anything. I brought soda. Even as she walked out the door, she was still insisting it was soda. Her husband looked completely mortified. The next day, my manager called me to tell me about Karen's Yelp review. She had posted a long, detailed complaint about how we harassed her for bringing a medical beverage and accused us of not understanding diabetes. But the best part was the comments. Other customers who had witnessed the incident started replying to her review, explaining what had really happened. Someone had even taken a photo of the wine bottle with the fake soda label when it fell out of her purse. One comment read, "I was sitting 2 tables away from you. That was clearly a wine bottle with a fake label. Your husband even admitted it was wine. Stop lying." Another said, "I watched this whole thing happen. You tried to sneak wine into a restaurant and got caught." The staff was completely professional. The review ended up with dozens of comments from witnesses, all contradicting her story. Her 1-star review was completely demolished by people who had actually seen what happened. A few weeks later, I heard that Karen had tried the same stunt at 2 other restaurants in town. Word had gotten around among the local restaurant community about the woman who wraps wine bottles in fake soda labels. She's basically been blacklisted from most of the decent restaurants in the area. The irony is that if she had just been honest from the beginning and paid the $25 corkage fee, she could have enjoyed her wine without any problems. Instead, her elaborate deception cost her the ability to dine at multiple restaurants and resulted in a public humiliation that will follow her online forever. Story 4. I've been working as a lifeguard at the community center for about 8 months now. I started the job right after high school because I needed to save money for college. The pay isn't amazing, but it's decent for a summer job, and I actually enjoy it most of the time. I'm a strong swimmer, and I got certified in CPR and water safety, so it felt like a natural fit. During regular hours, the pool is open to anyone with a membership or day pass. But we also rent out the space for private parties on weekends, which is pretty popular for birthday parties. This particular Saturday, we had the pool reserved for a little girl's 6th birthday party. Her parents had booked it weeks in advance and paid the full rental fee. They decorated with balloons and invited about 20 kids with their families. My job during private parties is straightforward. I keep everyone safe in the water and make sure only authorized people get in. The pool area gets locked off from the main facility, and I check everyone against the guest list. Everything was going smoothly when I heard shouting from the fence area. This woman in her 40s was standing at the locked gate, banging on it and yelling, "Karen, hello, hello, I need to get in." I climbed down from my chair and walked over to the gate. "Me, hi there. This area is reserved for a private party right now. The main pool will be open for general use at 4 o'clock. Karen, I don't care about a party. I have a membership here. I want to use the pool. Me, I understand, but the pool is rented out right now. The family paid for exclusive use until 4 p.m. Karen, that's ridiculous. I pay membership fees. I should be able to use the pool whenever I want. Me, I'm sorry, but that's not how private rentals work. There are open swim hours this evening if you'd like to come back. Karen, this is discrimination. You can't keep paying members out of the pool." The party guests were starting to notice the commotion. Some of the kids had stopped playing to stare at the woman yelling. "Me, ma'am, I'm going to need you to keep your voice down. There are children here." "Karen, I don't care about their stupid party. Open this gate right now." The birthday girl's mom walked over. "Mom, is everything okay?" Me, "I'm just explaining that the pool is reserved for your party." Karen, "Your party is ruining my pool time. This is a public facility." Mom, "We reserved and paid for this space. We have the rental agreement." Karen, "I don't care what agreement you have. I'm coming in." That's when she did something I couldn't believe. She actually started climbing the fence. It was about 5 feet high, and she was struggling in her flip-flops, but she was determined. Me, "Ma'am, you cannot climb that fence. That's trespassing." Karen, "I have a membership. It's not trespassing." She made it over the fence, landing awkwardly on the pool deck. All the party guests were staring now, and some of the kids looked scared. Me, "You need to leave immediately, or I'm calling security." Karen, "I'm not leaving. I'm going swimming." She started walking toward the pool, but I stepped in front of her. Me, "I'm not letting you in that pool. You're not authorized to be here." Karen, "You can't stop me. I know my rights." She tried to push past me, but I held my ground. Karen, "Get out of my way, or I'll have you fired." Me, "I'm calling the police." I pulled out my phone and started dialing. That's when Karen really lost it. Karen, "You little brat. I've been coming to this pool for years." She started yelling at the party guests too. Karen, "All of you need to leave. This is a public pool, not your private playground." The birthday girl started crying. Her mom was trying to comfort her while her dad was on his phone. Me, "The police are on their way. You need to leave now." Karen, "I'm not going anywhere. I'm going swimming." She actually started taking off her cover-up like she was going to jump in the pool. I stepped between her and the water again. Me, "Ma'am, there are children here. Please don't do this." Karen, "Those kids don't belong here. This is my pool time." The police arrived about 10 minutes later. 2 officers walked into the pool area, and Karen immediately started yelling at them. Karen, "Officer, this boy is preventing me from using the pool I pay for. This is illegal." Officer 1, "Ma'am, can you calm down and explain what's happening?" Karen, "I have a membership to this facility, and they're keeping me out of the pool for some random party." Officer 2, "Sir, can you tell us your side?" Me, "This area is reserved for a private birthday party." She climbed the fence to get in after I explained that the pool was closed for the rental. I showed them the rental agreement and the guest list. Officer 1, "Ma'am, this is a legal private rental. You're trespassing." Karen, "I am not trespassing. I have a membership." Officer 2, "Having a membership doesn't give you the right to access reserved areas." After they got her name and ran it through their system, Officer 1 came back with an interesting look on his face. Officer 1, "Ma'am, you have 3 previous citations for trespassing, 2 at retail stores and 1 at a restaurant." Karen, "Those were misunderstandings." Officer 2, "This is your 4th offense. That makes this a serious matter." The community center manager had arrived by then. Manager, "Officers, I want to press charges for trespassing. This woman has been warned before about disrupting events." Karen, "I've never been warned about anything." Manager, "Ma'am, you were asked to leave a senior water aerobics class last month for arguing with the instructor." Officer 2, "It sounds like this is a pattern of behavior." They ended up citing Karen for criminal trespass and disturbing the peace. The fine was over $300, and the manager banned her from the facility for 6 months. Karen, "This is illegal. I'm calling my lawyer." Officer 1, "You're welcome to do that, ma'am. But right now, you need to leave the property." As they escorted her out, she was still yelling about her rights and how unfair everything was. The party guests were all watching through the fence as she was walked to her car. After she left, the birthday girl's mom came up to me. "Mom, thank you for handling that so well. You kept everyone safe." Me, "I'm just sorry it happened during your daughter's party." The manager gave me the rest of the day off with pay after dealing with the situation. She said I'd handled it perfectly and that she was proud of how I'd protected the party guests. Karen tried to appeal the ban through the community center's board, but they upheld it after reviewing the incident report and her history of complaints. The whole thing made me realize that some people really do think the world revolves around them.